Hey everybody, good day. How's everyone doing
Hey.
this morning?
Morning.
Welcome to our 51st live stream that we've done. It's pretty exciting. I can't believe we got here. It's been a really exciting year, and today we're just gonna do our 2020 rewind. Just really kind of go through some of the highlights and things that really, for us personally, were important. But before we dive into that, it's been a really long year and really kind of complex, but we got a lot of stuff done. And I just want to say thank you to everyone here that liked, subscribed, and became part of our community. And and this kind of continued driving it forward. It's really exciting. And so, um, once again, check us out on we come basically every Thursday or every week at 10:30, and check out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/technology. And with that, I would also say, if you have a minute, please check out our Blueprint 2020. It's an SMB toolkit for planning strategic growth. It really has a ton of material in it. It has this guides. It has a budgeting tool. It has uh, instant response. It has just tons of stuff that's going to help you kind of get yourself aligned for next year. Put together some of the best minds in Valiant worked on it, and I think that has a lot of value. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Justin. Justin, what was your big rewind for 2020? Like, what was your kind of takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, so the big one I think that was everybody's mind this year was this whole work from home revolution that we've had. I mean, for me personally, I never had a problem with other people working from home, but I never wanted to. I had such a bad experience with it years ago, and I liked my commute and my routine. I took a ferry into the city from Jersey, so it was nice and you know st- not stress free, but as low stress as you can get. And
Had a nautical feel to it. You got a little
yeah,
fresh air,
Had
and
had those negative
you
ions
know,
from the
yeah,
water.
yeah,
exactly.
pick up my breakfast every morning and like say hi to the people I know on the commute. You get friendly with people and catch up. I was up to date on every podcast that I was into, as opposed to now. I mean, I'm so
True.
backlogged, but yeah, it had a nice. And even coming home, same thing too. Like it was a nice cap to the day. And I like being in the office around everybody. And I think, I mean, I definitely miss that portion of it. But when things go back to quote unquote normal, I don't think I'm going to do full time in the office again. I'm going to at least do a couple days a week from home. It just has
Right.
been, uh, you know, very more productive than I thought it would be. And I think part of that really was that we had already been using a lot of the hybrid tools and setup to be able to do that. So when I did, shift to work from home, it wasn't a matter of, I've got to figure out how to do all these things. I just picked up my laptop and was at home, and it was
Right.
exactly the same as
Right.
when I was in the office. The biggest difference was my desk in the office had four monitors, and I had to
It,
shift
it, it,
down.
yeah, you definitely have a slightly different space now,
Yeah.
and just
Well,
just noticing.
a little bit, but over time, I've gotten my desk toys set up again
Yes.
and got some monitors, so it's become my own. But that for me personally, was the biggest thing. But in coupled with that, working from home, not just for me, but overall, really shifted the security conversation. We had for years there'd really been this conversation about zero trust and moving security away from traditional perimeter security, and everybody working from home really accelerated that, because there no longer was the network security of the office. A firewall in the office doesn't really help you when your team is completely at home all over the place, and the things that they're connecting to are cloud services. So you really have to shift your security over to identity security, to uh, uh, securing cloud services, as opposed to just putting in a firewall and calling it a day and saying like, oh yeah, we're
Correct.
protected because we have
Yeah.
that. It really changed that conversation, and I think for the better, because as more and more cloud services are adopted, that identity security model is uh, going to be required, whether or not you have work from home or work from an office. And
Right.
in that vein, I think the best streams that we did this year were the ones where we were helping people set up MFA on their accounts, not just their work accounts, but their home accounts. MFA is the single easiest and best single easiest best thing you can do to help increase your security.
Yeah.
It's not a catch-all for everything. It's not like once you have that on, you're fine, but it
Right.
really does make it that much harder for your accounts to become compromised, and it really is that first step. Yeah, and I know we did a bunch of streams where we went through that and talked about that throughout the year. The analogy that we keep going back to is that the old thinking of, you know, hackers being this organized group targeting you specifically and thinking, well, I need to have strong security to protect somebody that's targeting me. The landscape is not like that. It's a
No.
parking lot, and anyone that doesn't have, you know, their doors locked, or the the club on the steering wheel
Club.
is going to be targeted for that.
Exactly,
There
Justin.
we go. That's my better hairstyle.
Yeah. A little more streamlined.
Yeah.
Myself included on that one.
Yeah.
As part of the earlier in the year, I was in the office that day, obviously, so which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting. So no, it's great. I mean, and it's well, thank you, Justin. That's really cool. So, Marianne, I'd love to hear what are your kind of what was your takeaway from doing this past year and doing these live streams with us?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are a lot of negatives, and people were sort of forced into this remote situation that Justin was hitting upon. But I think some of the positive is that everyone's finally using and adopting the cool cloud tools that they may have already had access to. So that's if you have Google Workplace, or formerly G Suite, or Office 365. And I think that's really cool. And it's also to harken back to security. It helps if people are familiar and actually use the stuff that is sanctioned by their office. It decreases the amount of shadow IT, which I know we've talked about a couple times, and basically just people trying to find workarounds to get their work done, which can be, security vectors, not even just for like malicious intent, but it could also just be data leakage, or like you don't have control of your data. So yeah, so I think it's really important when people do learn that stuff. I mean, that's part of, my whole thing with training is to get people to adopt this stuff. So I think it's really cool that people were doing that and using their tools to work collaboratively, and the productivity tools to work remotely and make it, as little of an inconvenience as possible. And I saw that a lot with our clients, because again, they're already set up with these tools a lot of the time. So I thought that was really cool that people were just like, oh, okay, so I can still access my files even though I'm in my dining room right now. I thought that was really neat. Some of the best ones that I really liked that we were doing is when I really like when we do tutorials. I mean, that's my thing. But so there's actually, I have two that I wanted to look at. We did a couple where we did Teams updates, because in order to keep up with this market of, especially with video conferencing being so important this year, they did a bunch of really cool feature updates. And we have a clip of where we're talking about one where they created new templates for creating a new team. So I really like that one. Yeah.
So, I guess the next one that is in our list of things that are important. What are these Teams templates? This is a little new to me. I haven't heard about this until today, so I'm really excited to learn about this.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like really excited. I wrote in our notes, like, this is my WrestleMania. Like, this is I've been waiting for, like, this is great, because this is half the things when people need Teams trainings, is that they want this stuff partially pre-made for them. It's like, finally they have some options for pre-made teams. So basically what it does is, when you go to make a team, it's going to give you the option. You can make it from scratch just like normal. You can make it as you copy a team you've already made. Again, that was already available. But then below, it's got a bunch of templates pre-made, based on industry, based on something that you want to do.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
so that
cool.
was really cool to look at. And then also, we're talking about being able to share files without having to be in person. We did talk a little bit about using your OneDrive and being able to change permissions on that, which is super important for security and keeping track of your data and all of that stuff. So that one was really fun. And I mean, my favorite part of it was that I had, you guys on the stream were even like, oh, that's like, I didn't know that worked like that. Or because I love seeing people have that aha moment. And a little bit, giving these trainings from home, I don't really get to see that as much. I also don't get people laughing at or groaning at my bad jokes when I'm giving the training. So, having that in the stream was really nice. So yeah, so this next clip is about OneDrive tips, in which we specifically talk about changing permissions on a file. But we just shared this. We can do ... This just brings up the options. And then you click manage access. So this is the super powerful part. When you open it, you can see who has links giving the access. So I have 2 links right now that I sent out that people can get access to. So I'm going to start with the more options and see. This is the one that I shared with George. Okay, fine. That's great. The link settings are that someone can edit it. I can copy this and send this same link to someone else.
Right. Yeah, I use that probably more than I want to admit, and I think I learned that on that stream actually. I suppose that's the purpose of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many parts to it. It's a deep application set, and especially OneDrive and SharePoint, all the varies in it. So really cool stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Megan, you're kind of you do the streams with us quite a bit. What was your kind of like takeaway from learning this year and these reflecting back on them?
Yeah, I do want to say, George, same with Marianne's tutorials. Yeah. I definitely go to them. So Marianne, great job on those. But yeah, I guess I want to take a really personal aspect on this. I was from a different industry before I came to Valiant, and I never worked from home before. And so I was really nervous about it. A lot of the stuff I think Justin, you and I have a lot in common. I'm also I used to run out of podcasts and be like, I have to wait till next week, or looking for another one for my commute. And I don't have that ritual anymore. I don't have the getting to work, and I had just never worked in a context of my home. And so that was a unique challenge. It's a different mindset to get into, to be productive, to be in a more Valiant mindset during the day.
Right.
to put it that way. And also be able to sort of unhook at the end of the day, where I really value in-person connections and office culture. But I think with the tools, like Marianne said, the collaborative tools we've had and Teams, it's not the same, but you can definitely bridge some gaps, which is great. And that kind of leads me to my job to be a sales associate, and I am a sales associate, not to be a sales associate.
It is. You're doing a great job, by the way. So thank you.
I'm just supposed to speak clearly. No. And George and I have to meet a lot of prospects and clients over Zoom, and we're trying to figure out their needs. We're trying to build relationships with people to see if we want to move forward with them and become their technology partner. And we used to go to their office. We used to see their space. We could get that feel for a vibe of an office, and we don't have that anymore. We meet one person, they tell us, and it's a strength because we sort of have windows everywhere and they're easily accessible, and that's great. But then it's also you don't get that handshake, you don't get that the natural joke of natural conversation, and that's been the biggest challenge probably for me from the perspective of my job. But also, I mean, maybe after this, moving into 2021, we'll be able to take on anything, right? When
Seriously.
We develop a lot of skills out of necessity, which I think a lot of the workforce feels right now. And so my favorite stream this year was one that I wasn't actually on. You 3 were on it. It's called The Language of Risk. I loved this one. I thought it was nuanced, and I really liked it as a tool to send to clients, because Marianne says at one point in the stream, here, I'm going to pull up the quote. If you don't understand it, that's when people don't take action. And with IT, that's often the case. The action isn't taken until too late. And so our stream on the language of risk is about, let's make this so you understand what we're talking about when we talk about the risks of IT and business and cybersecurity. And I think that's so helpful. And it's, we're not here to expect everyone else to be IT professionals. We're here to translate for them and to make their IT better. So that's my favorite.
Do a way better job than I think Justin and I do. So let's go.
Sure. So, I mean, we did last week's stream. We talked a little bit about risk and things like that. And I think it's really important that we sort of deep dive into this. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to say that I'm the geek to English translator. If you don't understand it, that's when people don't take action. So that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah, and I guess the next part is really exciting is the risk analysis piece, right? I mean, that's the part that I get excited about. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but
well, no, that's the. I mean, I do.
I mean, as a business owner, that is.
It is part of what we do.
You're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I start thinking about. I think about this quite a bit, and there's two. Still get excited about the language of risk and the risk in general. So much of IT work really is mitigating risk, and it's making it seamless so that people can do things without having to worry about it or think too much. So they can understand it and make a decision. But that's great, Marianne. So so thank you. And for me, I guess it's so many pieces. It's been such an interesting year, and so many things. I mean, this year's been exciting. We built, just working with the whole team. So, but before I dive into my piece, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the Valiant team. I think it's really hard for people to realize how much work went into migrating or transitioning almost 2,000 people into remote work. It's really hard to the complexity of it all. The different sites we support, all the applications we support. I think our team did an unbelievable job of it, and I think part of that's the strength of the technology on it, but it's also the strength of the human aspect of the team. So I just want to say, before I get into my kind of what's important to me, but I think it's important to say that it really is just the whole people behind us, with us, working together.
Yeah.
And so and I think for me, the big thing for this year was we did so much cybersecurity work, like this transitions, all new pieces of stack in place, so much new technology, so much new process. That I think that in some ways being remote and home allowed Justin and I and the members of our team the space and time to do it in a way that we might not have been able to do it in the past, which is pretty huge. And the other part is just really thinking about how to run our managed service provider, our company remotely or in the future in a hybrid way. We still go to the office at times. I still go to the office. We know people go to the office to work, but how do you have a cohesive team when you might not see someone for 6 months? I mean, I haven't seen Justin in person in 9 months. I haven't seen Marianne or Megan. I saw Megan one day. We were really excited. We went to a client meeting. It was super exciting to, I saw Nick Nightingale. It was great. It was like, hey, how you doing? How you been? You're so excited to see the person, and it really becomes. So I think my long hope with that is that the work we do, it needs to be quiet and thoughtful. We do it remotely, do it at home, and when you want to have that collaborative work, you do it in person, and it becomes just that much more precious or that much more enjoyable when you see people in the flesh, if that makes sense. So, and so that was great, is learning how to do that. And for me, the other thing that was for me, the biggest part was getting over to doing the streams. I don't think I'm a natural performer. I'm pretty terrible at it, actually, but I try real hard in it. And I think we made amazing strides in it. And just the content delivery, all this stuff. And I was gonna say, Matt, thank you so much. You're kind of the driving force behind this, Matt Fox. Thank you. He runs the board. He does it. He's somebody's on the stream with us. So Matt, thank you. It's great. So it's really powerful. This medium, this platform, and we get out there. So and for me, I think the information and education we can give our just anyone who wants it is there for us to build. And we want more informed people. So my clip that was my favorite clip, honestly, is the Justin's explanation of the Cia Triad. And the Cia Triad is a really important thing in cybersecurity because it really defines it. And it's one of the core tenets that everyone should really understand, because you can map just about every action to it. So Justin, why don't you show us that clip? I'm going to turn it over to Justin, who is going to talk about some of the core fundamental pieces about cybersecurity, so that we're all speaking the same language and how we can align things. Justin, we'll take it away from us. Give us a little bit of
fundamentals.
Thanks, George. Yeah, one of the core ways of thinking about cybersecurity is called the Cia Triad, and that stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And I'm going to run through each of those real quick so that we know what they all mean.
There you go. So check it out. Check out that thing. And if anyone has any questions on it, I'll gladly go into a deep dive with you on it because, as I said, everything maps to it. So as I said, this is our last stream, and so it was really exciting to do this with all of you and with our audience, and getting feedback from folks. And if you have a chance, please check out our Blueprint 2021. It has such a great content in it. I think it makes such a difference if you just take some time to look through it. It's really going to spark a thought on for you in terms of how you're going to map your technology to your business and all the in between. So with that, I want to say thank you, Marianne, Megan, Justin. Thank you so much for all your contribution and working with us this year, the Valiant team, and thank the Valiant team. Thank all of Valiant's customers and clients that allow us to be able to have be able to do this. And just check us out on thevaliantway.com, and we're on social, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And I just hope everyone has a great holiday. We'll be back in January. We're taking a little time off for the holidays ourselves, and should be back the first week of January with all new content, all new, really exciting stuff. We're going to think about making 2021 a great year. So thanks a lot, and stay safe, everyone. Bye now.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.